Okay, so here's my QA tip of the day. To be a successful QA tester, you need to be able to think outside of the box of the multiple ways that a person can come into contact to with that actual functionality. So let's take a streaming service, for example. Okay, so you may have Netflix or Firefox, something that you actually plug into a computer using like the HDMI output, correct? So when you're thinking of testing scenarios, how can a user actually come into contact with that actual functionality? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the business requirements, i.e. the actual directions, to make sure it's functioning as expected. So when I turn it off, when I plug it in, when I plug it out, the television, does it light or does it actually activate to make sure it comes on? Next, I'm also going to make sure I check whether I may check against using a Samsung device versus an LG device, right? Do they actually function differently when I plug it in? Third, I'm going to do stuff like set up multiple accounts. I'm going to go make sure that I can actually set up multiple accounts on this Fire Stick. Then what about actually setting permissions? When I actually set permissions for a parent versus an adult, do they actually work? What about actually creating different channels or saving things or adding things to my favorites? How does that actually work? And how does it work for the actual account settings? So do you see how I actually had the one device, but I can actually test all of those things from an LG perspective TV or versus a Samsung TV? See, both of them have to be tested to make sure that they're working as expected. So this is how you actually think as a QA and think outside of the box to be an excellent QA analyst to a company. Let's go.